Sure. Well, I met Saeed's forward-facing self. I met his double life, if you will. I was studying photography. I was living in a small brownstone in Harlem, and Saeed was my neighbor. While he was my neighbor, excuse me, I would have frequent visits to his apartment. We would engage in conversations about politics, about current events. One day he abruptly disappeared. This was at the end of 3 years of conversing. He abruptly disappeared. It was May 28, 2005. I was staring into an empty apartment wondering where he went when I got a call from him. He said, "I'm no longer in New York. If anyone comes to you asking about me, any information, please give me a call, get their information from me." When I said why, he said, "Come to South Carolina. I've relocated. I have something to tell you." And when I went to South Carolina, he confessed to me that the apartment in which we had been conversing was in essence an FBI safe house. The rent was being paid by the FBI. It was wired with audio and video surveillance. And he told me that, "Do you remember Tariq?" And I said, "Yes, Tariq Shah." He said, "Tariq is now in jail on suspicions of terrorism." And at the time that I met Saeed in 2000, between 2002 and 2005, it was sort of the height of his career. He was involved in 2 active counterterrorism investigations, one being the domestic investigation of Tariq Shah, the other the international.
Tariq Shah, who is a musician.
Yes, yeah. And the other being the international investigation based in Germany of Sheikh al-Moyad.
Mm-hmm. And
I'd like to give all glory and praise and honor unto the Most High. We're going to get into it, man. Now, you see what she said in this in that video clip right there was that, you know, her neighbor was an informant and he was living across from her for some time, man. And she was going in there conversating with him and, he didn't tell her nothing, and he just moved abruptly to another location. And she didn't know what was up. And because, they move these guys out from place to place, where they need him, wherever they need him, when that time is ready, So yes, so he eventually told her what was up, that, the apartment that she was in was a FBI, safe house, man. And, I'm playing you this video to show you that, look, this is exactly what's going on out here. This is exactly, how they're able to monitor you in your apartment complex, because, they have safe houses, in your apartment, And it's not only yours, but throughout the entire neighborhoods, man. This is why you see traffic constantly coming in, the apartment. People that don't even live there coming in and out, And you'll see people that do live in your apartment complex. You'll see them in other apartment complexes, coming in and out, because this is what they're doing. So let's say, for example, like you get ready to leave your apartment complex, they're gonna you're gonna hear these guys rushing out the apartment, and what they're doing before you come outside, they're going into these these safe houses to watch you when you come out. They're watching you live as you come out, man. Your apartment complex, while you're on the streets, they're watching you live, man. And this is why, for some targeted individuals, you hear that ringing constantly in your ear, is because they have this frequency or whatnot constantly beamed at you, 24/7 beamed at you, so they can hear everything that you're saying, man. So, so like I said, man, yeah, this is what they're doing, man. And you're like, I've seen people with, suitcases moving from place to place, and it's an easy come up if you don't have a place to stay. If you're homeless, all you got to do is do their bidding, whatever they tell you to do, and like you'll have a place to stay. And this is why a lot of these guys, they're not gonna rebel, because this is their way of life. This is how they survive. And this is what they do, man. They try to they try to strip you of everything you got, man. But like, if you don't know what's going on, if you have no idea what's going on, man, it's easier for them to enforce their will on you. But if you have an idea of what's going on, man, if the Most High, don't let them force their will on you, it becomes easier to resist. So, this whole thing is, designed to make you look like a failure if you don't know what's going on. So like, you're going about your regular day, and things are not going your way because you're in this program. I mean, for example, like, let's say if I was to go take we know that, they're constantly, or they have the ability to drug you, without you knowing. So let's say you go into, for example, Starbucks or something like that, you get your tea, your coffee or whatnot, and your job requires for you to take a piss test. You don't do no drugs. You know what I'm saying? You don't do no drugs. You never did drugs in your life. But for all of a sudden you pop on the piss test, you're gonna be like, what the hell? You get fired. Everybody around you, everybody in the neighborhood know what's going on, and they're waiting. They're like vultures, man. That's why they're constantly surrounding you. They're like vultures, man. You're like you're like a wounded rabbit or something like that, and they're the vultures just surrounding you, waiting for you, just waiting to swoop in, and just pluck you apart, So let's continue. So let's say you fail your drug test, and you get fired, So these guys are out here waiting on you. They're already watching you. They're waiting on you. So you go apply for a next job, you don't get that. You go apply for a next one, you don't get that, And this whole time, like I said, and this is why they constantly use that pattern of using the same people, pushing the same people in front of you, over and over again. Because naturally, like I said before, if you don't know what's going on, if you don't have an idea or clue what's going on, if you're not circumspect, you'll say hello to these people. You'll say, you'll say hello and whatnot, because you're constantly seeing the same people in front of you all the time. You're naturally just say, hi, how you doing? You'll start engaging in conversation, But, and they use that tactic of, moving the same person in front of you because that's the person they want, to for you to latch onto. They want you to latch on to somebody, that's of their circle. And when you finally do, these guys are not there to help you. What I mean? It may seem like they're there to help you, but they're there, to entrap you. That's what they're there for. That's their goal. Their goal is to, to please, their handlers, their bosses, and whatnot, because they also on the hook, And if they don't do what they're told, that's their ass, because they fear what you're going through, man. They fear what you're going through, and they don't want to be the butt of the jokes because they're the ones that's actually guilty. So yeah, man, so they just want you to, latch yourself onto these people, man. And these people, man, they're gonna try their best to, and lead you down a drain, get you hooked on drugs, they're just gonna do all manner of wickedness. Like, look, they might come into your apartment. They might leave some drugs there. You don't do no drugs. Next thing you know, you got the cops busting into your apartment. Or they might, you might give them a ride in your car. They might leave some drugs in your car. Stash it in the seat somewhere. Next thing you know, the cops pull you over. And you don't, like I said, you don't do no drugs. Period. And this is how they get you, man. And these are the things that how a lot of people probably got, jacked up, man, and screwed over, is because of this program, because they were not paying attention, man. The scripture says, be circumspect, pay attention, don't walk around as fools, be wise, So this is what's going on out here, man. So you got to keep your cool too. Another thing too, you got to keep your cool, because it's constant harassment, man. And these handlers, they're not telling these people the truth. They're not telling these people the truth. They may think that they're helping you in some way or form, but they don't know that what they're doing, is annoying you. And I'm pretty sure they have, they may tell them, oh, because they like to pull the mental health card. This person needs to be watched, and these people are coming out maybe actually thinking that what they're doing is, helping you, but it's actually annoying you and making it worse. Making the situation worse. And they're not telling you that they're drugging this target. They're not telling you that they're torturing this target. They're not telling these people these things, And these people are coming out here. But then again, a lot of these guys know. A lot of these people know. They fully well know what's going on too. So I can't, You know, but like I said, they have no choice, man. They have no choice but to do these things, you know. And I think too, like I was saying, you know, you got to keep your cool too, because, you know, it's imperative to keep it cool, because like I said, they're trying to entrap you. They're trying to, you know, make you get into fights, you know, to get you locked up. And for example, let's say you lived in Los Angeles, right? Let's say you lived in LA and you went to Long Beach, you know, for a trip or something, and you got into an altercation with somebody out there, you know, and let's say they are monitoring you, they're gonna go to that person, you know, and that you got into an altercation with in Long Beach, you know, and they're gonna move that person back into your apartment complex in Los Angeles, you know, you feel me? This is what they do, you know. So you got into a fierce altercation with this guy, you know, they're gonna take him and move him into your you know, to where you live, you know, all, you know, like what, 2-3 hours away, and you're gonna be like, what the hell? How this guy moving here? You know, what's he doing here? You know, and they want you to start having, you know, friction with these people, man. This is why, like I said, you just gotta keep it cool, man. You know, because the fact that, like, if you guys been out here, what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, man, under this type of, under this type of surveillance, under this type of stress, man, look, I salute you, man, because this is not easy, you know. And like the handler told me, man, like I remember, I'm never gonna forget it. He said, look, man, a lot of these guys that's doing this to you, they will break in your situation, man. You know, he's told me that. And like these guys out here taking pictures of us, man, recording us, you know what I mean, following us everywhere, you know what I mean. But I take my camera out and I start recording, you know, and then you got cats that's, you know, they getting offended. You feel me? You know, they getting offended when you record them, you know, and they know fully well what they doing, you know, and that, you know, and that just let me know, you know, how weak some of these guys are, man, you know, because we come out, we got to take that stuff when we come outside, man, we got to take that stuff when we come outside, you know, but when it's done to them, they can't take it, you know, so, you know, but you got to keep your cool no matter what, man. So, you know, so these just little things that, you know, that we going over, man, that I'm going to go over. I want to just speak about, man, you know, especially the safe house, man. The safe house is what I really want to stress on, man, because if you watch my videos, if you've seen the videos that I put out, you see that, like, there's no way that I could time these things on key, you know, when I show you the pattern, I show you the consistency, and there's many videos that I put up, you know, showing you these things, man. So, you know, this is what they do, man. You know, this is what they doing, you know, and that was a perfect clip to explain it, man, because I wanted to explain that, you know, before, but, you know, and I wanted to use a movie to do it, but, you know, this clip was just, you know, I found this clip and it was perfect, you know. So, yeah, man, the targeted individual he's used as a deterrent to others, you know, to be like, look, man, it's basically like, look, if you stand for what's right, this is what's going to happen to you, pretty much, man, you know. But let's bring up this scripture real quick, man. I'm going to show you what the Hamashiach did. Luke chapter 23, verse 1. And the whole multitude of them arose and led him to Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, we found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is, you know, Hamashiach, a king, man. You know? A king. Christ a king. You know? Perverting the nation. How was he perverting the nation, man? You know? By telling the truth. You know? These guys were wicked that was accusing him, man. You know, they began to accuse him. They said he's perverting the nation, man. How? By telling the truth, man. By speaking the truth. That's how he's perverting the nation, man. Right here. Number 3. And Pilate asked him, saying, thou art king of the Jews? And he answered him and said, thou sayest this. You know, that's what you said, pretty much, he said. And Pilate said to the chief priests and to the people, I find no fault in this man. I found no fault in him, man. I found no fault in this man. That's what Pilate said. Look, I don't see what he's doing wrong. I don't find no fault in him. I see no error. Number 5, and they were more fierce, saying, he stirreth up the people, teaching throughout Jewry, man. Beginning from Galilee to this place. This is what he did. That's what the Hamashiach did, man. You know, so you know, people say like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to be speaking up and stuff like that. Look at what he did, man. They said he stirreth up the people by doing what? By preaching, by teaching, you know, and speaking the truth, man. That's what he did, man. He stirred up the people, man. They said he was perverting the people, man. When they were the wicked ones, man, lying to the nations of people, man. You know? They said he was perverting the nations, man, because they wanted to keep the people in bondage, man. You know? He stirreth up the people, man. You know? That's what he did, man. He rebuked, man. Fierce rebuke. Flipped the table over in the temple, man. He told you, you know, you of your father the devil. You know? You know? He wasn't preaching no soft gospel, man. He stirred up the people, man. That's what he did, man. You know? So, man. By speaking the truth, man. You know, so they don't want you to speak the truth. But this is what he did, man. He stirred them up, man. And they said that, they accused him and said he was perverting the nations, the people, man. You know? Oh, man. So man, that's what he did, man. You know, and that's another reason why look, man, you don't want to be a part of these groups, because remember when those prophets came, when the Hamashiach came, when all those guys came on the scene, one of the reasons they rejected him. Why? Because they were so used to living that lifestyle of wickedness, man. You know, the lifestyle they were, it's just like what's going on right now, man. You know, it's just like what's going on right now. You know, when you go, they don't want you speaking up. You know, because they're so used to living that lifestyle of wickedness. You know, that when somebody finally came that spoke the truth, it ruffled their feathers, man. You know, it ruffled their feathers. You know, and they wanted that person gone. You know, and it's the same thing repeating itself in this modern day time. You know, those prophets came. You know, the Hamashiach came. You know, but they were so used to living a certain way of life. They were so, you know, the wickedness, they were so ingrained in the wickedness, man. You know, their way of lifestyle was so wicked that, you know, they put these guys to death. And who was, like I said in our previous videos, who was putting these guys to death in the scriptures, man? You know, who was putting them to death? The secret societies were putting them to death, man. You know, just like how you read the scriptures, it said, look, the chief priests and the Pharisees and the chief and the elders persuaded the multitude, man. You know, that's the same thing they do in this modern day time, man. You know, because they tell you who to hate. They tell you who to target. You mean? You niggas is not picking your targets on your own. They tell you who to target, man. You know? So, you know, that being said, man, all praises to Most High. Hopefully this was edifying, man. You know? He stirred up the people with his words, man. Oh, man.